part 3 of your podcast on the case study in Chapter P in your AP Stats book. All right, and part 3 of the course is probability. So, what would I expect if there's no difference between the treatment of the active and the inactive magnets? I would expect that there'd be some variation, but in general, and if you look at this graph right here, which is in your book, also on page 27, this would indicate the likelihood that I'd have no difference in the average score. Now, I do expect some variation, just by, it could end up that more of the more severe polio patients were in one group or the other. So this shows me that I have a little bit more of a difference for one way versus the other. And this is the other side. So it's perfectly reasonable, even if there was no difference at all in the treatment, that I could get a little bit lower or higher average one way or the other. And so what you should see developing here is a little bit of this bell curve. All right, we're going to talk about a normal curve not too long from now, but so this is what we reasonably expect. Now, the actual difference that they got is out here, 4.05. That's pretty unlikely. It's pretty unlikely that you would have a difference this big if there was no difference in the active and inactive treatment. So part 4 of the course is inference. So what I'm inferring from this is that these positive magnets do actually have an effect. All right, and one of the questions they ask you is, what if in on the homework, problem 25 says, what if the difference was 2.5? All right, so that's right here. All right, instead of 4.05. Well, that's still pretty unlikely that I would get a result that much different or higher if the magnets have no effect. So what I'm concluding here is that these positive magnets do have an effect, and I would still conclude that even if the difference between the averages was only 2.5 rather than the 4.05 that it actually was. All right, so that's where I'm going now. Problem 26 on, so that's 25 in a nutshell. All right, very unlikely, and they actually give you the area. And I guess a point they want to make that we'll make pretty strongly at the end of the year, at the end of the winter, is it's the area under this curve which tells me the likelihood of getting a difference this big. And in this case, the area under the curve that's higher than 2.5 is 0.005, which means there's only a 0.5% probability that I would get this big a difference just by chance. So I'm concluding that that's why I'm concluding that the magnets have that big a difference. All right, and on problem 26, they ask you to do what we've already done in this podcast. They ask you to make the dot plot, calculate the mean, talk about the difference between the two means and what we can infer from that. So this is a problem that covers a lot of different ideas. And what we're going to do in the course is take each idea sort of one at a time and go into a lot more depth with it. But going through this problem, this is the whole course. All right, we've got data analysis, experimental design, probability, and inference. And all the roads lead to inference, really. That's and so each part is important, but what we're trying to do is actually take data and infer some meaning from it. So that's where we're going. Make sure you've done these problems. Again, you will have a test, second class of the year, and the test will come from these homework problems largely, and the ideas that are in the chapter and in these podcasts. If you got questions, obviously I'll be available. Feel free to email me or come see me once you get on campus. Good luck and have a good day.